You know what time it is, baby. Faithful, rise up. Yee! Let's get it. It's go time, baby. Like.
Field advantage is the top seed in the NFC, and they're really uptight. Home field advantage.
What is up, San Francisco 49er faithful? Welcome to Keltz Chronicles. Hey, today, man, you know who I am, obviously, Rich Keltz, and I got my man Sunil with me today. What's up, everybody?
What's up, Rich, man? We got, you said Aloha Friday. I saw you had the nice swag with the Aloha shirt, so I was like, let me go throw on my Aloha shirt too, just so I could be swag daddy like you, brother.
Man, let's get it. Let's go, man. Hey, I appreciate you, just feeling the vibe and then stepping in with it, man. We got, I always like to say what's up to the folks that's coming through in the chat, but man, we got Stevo Supremo. Yee! We got Small Town Niners. He says cheers. Man, we got Raphael 562 Niners says aloha. Hey, real talk, man. We're bringing the aloha spirit today, man. I got some beautiful news. It's been one of my dreams to try to get to Hawaii, and we are actually going to be going in April, man. So I'm stupid juiced up. I'm going to be on, the Hawaii hype for quite some time, all the way leading up to it. And then at the same time, my wife's family, they are natives from Hawaii. So, man, I've adopted the culture to the fullest. Have you ever been to Hawaii, my man, Sunil?
I've been very, very long ago as a family trip when I was younger, man. The thing that I do remember, those luau's are fire. You got to get you some of that food. And then also the water out there just hit different, man. It's not like the water out here in California, bro. It hits different.
Let's go. Hey, I love water too, man. That's mostly what I drank, is just straight up water, juice. So hey, I'll binge on some sodas too, man. But
right.
I got to cheat somehow. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got Eric Parks in the house. He says, "What's up, Keltz?" And Surreal. Hey, yeah, we got the links in the descriptions. Whether you're on Surreal's, whether you're on So Real Sports TV, I believe it is. Hey, whatever channel, the link's in the description. What's up to everybody? We got Eric Parks, Spy Nick Danger in the house. Man, let's get it. Let's go. We see the flame emojis. Hey, if you guys got some big time questions for us, we're going to be answering them toward the end of the show. So save them if you want to. If not, it's all good. All right, man. So, hey, you know what? I wanted to open up the show with a couple of jokes and just pick your brain on some of these Hawaii jokes, man. And then, of course, we're going to be getting into 49er football. We're going to talk Kyle Shanahan, the matchup, legacies, just, how should we attack them? How should they attack us? We're going to try to go over all of it. But I'm going to start it off, man. And so here's a joke / question. Why didn't the passengers receive their flowers when their plane landed in Hawaii?
Why didn't they
receive their flowers? Like, typically you get off a plane and Hawaiians will be quick to, throw something over your neck.
Right. Yo, only thing coming to my head is some dirty jokes. I want to not say that. So I'm going to just say, no, what, why didn't they?
All right. So hey, I'll just repeat it for the for the chat once again. Why didn't the passengers receive their flowers when their plane landed in Hawaii? Because their flight was delayed.
Ah, got you. I like that. Didn't.
All right. Hey, we'll go. Hey, yeah, these are some corny ones, but I love it, man. I love it. All right. Why is playing craps dice better in Hawaii?
Why?
Because it's a tropical pair of dice.
Ooh. I like that. Hey, all dad jokes for me. I'm with it.
Let's get it. Let's go. Hey, this is the last one. Do they allow loud laughing in Hawaii? Or just aloha? Stupid. I love it. Hey, we see Mariah in the house. Hey, what's up, Mariah? If you guys don't know who Mariah is, you guys are sleeping. You guys got to go check her channel out. As a matter of fact, I still got my George Kittle card. You know,
Hey.
because Mariah's the best, man. They do a great thing over there. Her and TL, man, they got a great 49er talk show over there. So go check it out. We got Raphael talking about Glock Purdy about to send the Eagles to Hawaii. He said, Glock Purdy, let's get it. Let's go. All right, man. We're gonna hop into these topics. If y'all got questions, save them for later, please. All right, so the first thing, man, hey, I seen a little bit of you this morning. I only checked out a tiny bit of it, but I've been asking myself the same question, and just the legacy of Kyle Shanahan. Like, what does this mean for Shanahan? Uh, I've been one of those guys that get extra dramatic and emotional when things get rough, and I'm like, hey, man, I've seen enough. I'm tired of it. Oh my God, Trey Lance, how could you? This is ridiculous. But then I'll reflect, I'll correct, and I'll come back to, you know what, man, Kyle is who he is. If he's a guy who chooses to, um, you know, uh, go about his business the way he goes about his business, hey, I can appreciate it because we're doing something right now that hasn't been done since I believe 97, 12 straight wins, back-to-back NFC championship games. This whole entire organization from top to bottom is just flipped around, uh, and a great deal of it has to do with Kyle Shanahan, and I'll throw in John Lynch in there as well. And then I got some other comparisons too to other coaches, but I just wanted to get your take on Shanahan, what this game means, and what do you think is going to be the legacy of Shanahan once this season is all said and done?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's going to be determined because he's on the brink of doing something that has never been done before. Never has a rookie ever started in the Super Bowl. Never has a rookie ever won the Super Bowl, obviously, because one's never had the opportunity. So, this is going to be, Kyle Shanahan this is his third NFC championship game in the last 4 years. If you extend it back to him being an offensive coordinator for the Falcons, this is his fourth NFC championship in the last 7 years. So as far as the NFC, this is, if you have Kyle Shanahan on your staff, the chances of you being in the NFC championship game is over 50%. So he definitely is putting himself in elite status. Now, it's interesting, Richard, because the comp that I always say with Kyle Shanahan is Andy Reid. Andy Reid, we're around the same age, so you remember Andy Reid with the Eagles. He was constantly going back to back to back NFC Championship games back with Donovan McNabb, and he only made it to the I think they went 4 or 5 times back to back to back, and he only made it to the Super Bowl once, lost that, and then the Eagles parted ways with him. He ends up going to Kansas City. They're in their 5th AFC Championship game. And they've hosted 5 in a row, which is insane. Obviously, they've been to 2 Super Bowls. He won one. But if you look at it, he hasn't had a lot of success as far as winning the actual Super Bowl. He's only won 1 out of 3 opportunities. Kyle Shanahan, he's gone to the Super Bowl twice, still hasn't won a chip. So it's interesting to me, Richard, how one Super Bowl victory can change the whole narrative of what you are, and especially if he wins it in this realm where he's on his 3rd string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, first rookie ever to lead a team to the Super Bowl, and so on and so forth. He would be goated in a different way than most coaches would be. I think he jumps automatically to top 1 or 2 coaches in the league, and I think that he writes his name kind of as far as one of the all-time greats, just because, it's very rare when coaches are able to do something that nobody's ever done before. And he would be the first coach to be able to, take a team to the Super Bowl with the rookie quarterback, 3rd string quarterback, and go on and win it. It's stuff movies are made out of. And so I think this is a big game. I think he has a really great opportunity to get that done with this team that he has. And, I think he's the right type of coach to be able to get it done.
Absolutely. Like, I agree with everything you said. I had a little flashback at the same time. I see J.R. Meadows in the comments. They cheated us on Super Bowl 54. And once upon a time, when I'm looking at it from, the most pessimistic side, I'm like, man, we could be going back to back to back, and then it just shows how hard it is to win Super
It
Bowls in
is.
this league. And one of the guys that I wanted to compare Shanahan to, because earlier in the season, I believe it was Grant Cohn that first came out and said that this run game possibly reminds him of the 72 Dolphins. And that's when the 2 and 3 running backs were incorporated by Don Shula. I started doing more digging on the 72 Dolphins, even though I knew the history of the undefeated season. I did more digging, especially when Trey Lance broke his ankle, because I was like, hold on, didn't someone on the Dolphins break their ankle? Sure enough, Bob Greasy, he broke his ankle. I started making a lot of comparisons like, man, this is kind of trippy besides the going undefeated. But it brings me back to Don Shula, because I believe Don Shula was in two championship games that he lost before he won back-to-back Super Bowls. And Don Shula was known for not winning the big game. He would have winning seasons, and he just was starting to become known for the guy who could not win the big game. And Don Shula, in interviews was like, hey, that is the worst you can ever have. That's the worst thing you can have attached to you as a coach, the guy who couldn't do the.
Right.
But what does Don Shula do? He goes on a magical season. He loses his number one quarterback with Bob Greasy, breaks his ankle. Earl Morrall steps in, continues the win streak. And then in the NFC Championship, he puts Greasy back in there, which is the father of Brian Greasy. They win the Super Bowl. The next year, they win the Super Bowl. And Don Shula is one of the greatest coaches of all time, a Hall of Famer, back-to-back Super Bowls. If he didn't win those Super Bowls, he would be looked at kind of probably like, who is the Bills? The Bills in the early 90s, Marv. Is it Marv? I'm thinking of the coach where they went to 4
You
straight
know
Super
what?
Bowls.
What's funny is I only remember Jim Kelly and all of those guys. I don't really remember the coach of Buffalo all that time. Yeah, Thurman. Yeah,
Thurman Thomas,
Yep.
Andre Reed, Jim Kelly. They 4. Could you imagine 4 Super Bowls and coming up short?
Man.
Poor Bills.
Yeah,
Poor Bills.
Poor Bills.
Hey, so I believe it's time. Hey, I think there's 5 or 6 coaches in the 49ers organization that got rings, and most of them are guys we brought in this year. And I think they wanted that championship pedigree. Anthony Lynn, Brian Greasy won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, and then Nick Sorensen and Brian Snyder won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks 2013. And then, of course, John Lynch has a ring. It's time, Shanahan. It is time. Go take 6. It's time, man.
Yeah.
Hey, we're rooting for you, man. We are rooting for you, Kyle, man. I know it's not all on you. I know the players got to execute, but hey, it looks like you got a quarterback you could trust in. And like you said, Sunil, this is something that movies are made of. It's just one of the funnest seasons I've ever been a part of. And I'm glad, on YouTube doing what I'm doing to be able to to be able to record and witness and be a part of this even more.
And you know what, Richard, this is actually a great matchup for Kyle Shanahan in the sense that he's kind of the elder statesman, even though he's young and Sirianni and him are probably around the same age. As far as experience level, Shanahan has way more experience in these type of games in the playoffs and so on than Sirianni does, right? Sirianni, this is his second time in the playoffs. He hasn't coached in a championship game. He hasn't been in this position before. So are the nerves going to get to him? If the game gets close, is his decision making going to be where it needs to be? Whereas with Shanahan, he's coming in with a lot of experience. He's been in these games. He's lost in these games. So, he obviously the moment's not going to be too big for him because he's already been there. Yet to be seen about the coaching staff on the other side, even though I do think I have a lot of respect for the Eagles and that coaching staff, what they've done this season. It's going to be a great matchup, but I'm with you, man. I think that Kyle Shanahan, this is his year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man. And I wanted to throw something up, man, if you don't mind, man. I have to throw something up because Yeah, the experience. The experience is huge, and not even just the experience throughout the years. I don't know, I'm just having flashbacks to like, this team is hungry,
Hmm.
hot, healthy, dogs, experience. They got a bitter taste, and there's a reason why you even hear guys like Ayuk come out every couple of games. He'll do the, after the game, he'll bring it in, and I've heard Ayuk say a couple times, "We are on a path," and I take that as they are a team on a mission. They're not, if they've been there, they want this. And I want to show a demonstration of a team of what it looks like of a team who hasn't been there, and hey, all the respect to the Eagles. They've had a phenomenal year, but when I see their coach do something like this, it just kind of it feels like it's bound for him to get humbled. I'm going to play a quick little clip and I want to get your take.
Field advantage is the top seed in the NFC, and they're really uptight. Home field advantage is the top seed in the NFC, and they're really uptight. Home field advantage is the top seed in
Now, I did want to say this. Now, look, real quick, like, hey man, I don't mind the man having swag and like, being happy and this and that, but it just like shows me kind of like it feels like that was their Super Bowl. It just has a feeling like that. I'm hoping that was their Super Bowl. And then it also reminds me there's something similar that kind of reminded me of, and I'll play another little clip. But how do you feel about that? Do you enjoy I don't know. What's your take
Yeah,
on that?
so I'm, I don't know. I think that like stuff like that gets blown up too much. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is like, there's a changing of the guard, man. Like back when we were younger, Richard, like there were certain things that we would do and stuff like that. And then the older generation would be like, why are you guys doing that? It makes no sense. The way you wear your clothes, the way you wear your pants, all this kind of stuff. Sirianni, Shanahan, these guys, they're from a different generation. And it is like hype, pump up. It's not like suit, tie like the older generation. You know what I mean? So I think like they're in the moment just like everybody else. And he's playing to his fan base. I'm sure the Eagles fans love that their coaches, has that kind of flair, has that kind of fire and all that kind of stuff. Outside looking in, obviously, I watch the national media and there's people that are annoyed by it. Oh, he's immature, all this kind of stuff. It shows, through his team. But I'm just like, man, like we don't know what's going on in that locker room. These guys went, number one seed, went out there, handled business. They're the favorite in this game. Their coach has done everything to give those guys the opportunity to win, and he has those guys humming. So to me, it's funny, Richard, because if they lose, this is going to be the narrative, right? If they win, it's just going to be like, oh, this is going to, you know what I mean? So it's like, it just
Yeah,
kind of all depends
yeah,
on how the narrative gets
exactly.
written based off of what happens in the NFC Championship game. Because you're already kind of planting the seed. If they lose, look
Yeah.
at the way he was handling himself after that. They thought that was the Super Bowl and all this kind of stuff. You're writing the story already
Yeah.
for whoever's going to take off and write that for ESPN.
And then like you said, if they win, oh, see, if Kyle would have had more swagger, maybe
Right.
if Kyle was more relaxed and let it hang out. But
Now, you know what it's going to be? It's like the coach of the next generation. Now everybody's looking for the next Nick Sirianni with that
yeah,
passion and that flair and all that kind of stuff, man.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
funny how like these things, it just, at the end of the day, man, all that matters is winning. And
yeah.
if he wins, he's doing everything right. If he loses, they always find stuff to criticize.
Real talk. Well said. Real talk. Because everybody has a different flavor, and maybe hey, it seems like that truly is him. You hear him in the locker room, the way he talks to his players. Some guys are really really good at just being able to talk and bringing that element. I'm sure it's pros and cons. I'm sure Shanahan is much more better with his design and the way he executes on the field, and it's apples and oranges. Like, hey, what flavor do you want today? But hey, I love who we have, and yeah, man. So I'm gonna just
You know
hop
what's
in.
funny? What's
Go
funny,
ahead.
Richard, before you get into the other clip, a lot
Yeah.
of this same narrative was talked about Kyle Shanahan when he was drinking in the offseason, throwing the football into the pizza oven.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a lot of talk about, oh, he's drinking with his team and all this kind of stuff, right? So it's like it could go either way. Nobody's talking about that now because of the success that they've had this season. But that was, if we, not too long ago, people were saying that about Kyle Shanahan. And if he had a terrible year this year, they would be saying, look, he's too casual with this team. He has too much fun with the guys. He's drinking with the players and all this kind of stuff. He should just be focused on football and all that. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
hey, I was one of those guys in the offseason. How come he's only taking the selected guys to Cancun and this, that, and other? Hey, but at the same time, hey, now that I'm chill about it, that was on a different mode. It's kind of like, hey, man, like, good for him. Everybody is different. Everybody's gonna say, hey,
and
you
it
shouldn't
works.
Be, it's working. You shouldn't be.
Working.
Hey, you shouldn't be buddy. It's exactly what you said. If it works, it works. But then if it doesn't, that's the reason. It's like, hey, to each their own. Everybody's going to do what they do. But that clip did give me memories. I don't know if you're a Warriors fan or not, but it did, regardless of that, it reminded me of this next clip I'm going to play. So I'm comparing the Sirianni and what he did to this next clip right here. And I bring that up because it was like, I think that was the first time they won. I believe this is Sirianni's like first playoff win. So that's like the first time Memphis like won, and they were just, the way that the Memphis Grizzlies were talking about facing the Warriors was just like, no respect for someone who has been there and done that. And I get it. That was a part of maybe their way of trying to get under the skin. But we seen who came out victorious. The Warriors showed the hearts of champions. And it's just, I get a similar vibe off of that, but at the same time, it's being blown up to more. Hey, like you said, I feel like that's real. It just gets blown up. But I like the fact when there is the extra little drama and element to just, so it's fun. It's fun.
Sure.
But.
And I mean, obviously, like I'm a Laker fan, right? I'm out here in Southern California. Kobe Bryant, RIP. He my favorite player of all time. And I remember in an interview, like it was like, I forget which year it was, but they were up 2-0 in some playoff game. I don't remember if it was a championship or whatever. And he was just like melancholy, man, straight face, no smiles. They just got a big win, went up in the series 2-0. And the one of the guys that were interviewing was like, man, no smile. You guys are up 2-0. And he's like, so what? Like, why would I be happy? He's like, well, you guys are up 2-0, and he's like, is the job done? And job ain't done. So he's like, there's nothing to be happy about till the job's done. So I know there's people that just like that. They want that aspect they want their team, they want their players and all this kind of stuff to be that way. But but then you look at a guy like George Kittle, right? There was that locker room, like there was that scene where he's like playing around with the camera when the game is still really close against Dallas, and he's just loose. And some people feed off of things in a different way. Not everybody's going to be built the same way. So I think we kind of just got to let people be, and it's always going to be talked about, but like we said, it's just more for the media than what's actual reality.
Holla freaking Luya, man. Just on let be. Just everybody's different. Just let them be. Let them freaking be. It doesn't matter. One thing that frustrates me is the fact that sometimes it feels like in this world, with everything, sports, a lot of stuff, if this is right, this has to be wrong. It's like there could be numerous things that are right. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that gets forgotten about, and it's this it's quick to argue and grumble and disagree, and that there's a way to have a conversation even in disagreement. It just is what it is. So I'm gonna hop into the next topic, man, and just it's down below right there. Who concerns you the most on the Eagles offense? And I'll take it off. I'll start it off, and I'll just start it with Devontae. I believe it's Devontae. Wait, hold on.
Smith.
Am I getting? Yeah, Devontae
Devontae
Smith. I was like,
Mhm.
hold on, do I got the guy right? Hey, but their burner. Their burner is who scares me the most. And it's because I believe we've given up if my memory's right, I believe it was 8 50-yard touchdowns against us throughout the year. And that's the most in the NFL. And it feels like the times where we have lost it is come to teams who are able to get the deep ball, burn us for the big touchdowns. And so that's the one guy. I've heard a lot of people talk about AJ Brown. I feel like we just match up well this specific year. I feel like Kavarius is just better than guys we've had in the past, regardless of what happened last week or the week before against Metcalf. I feel like he's going to match up well. I feel like Lenore will also just his tackling, Lenore's tackling. I feel like we just match up better versus AJ Brown, regardless of the pass. So I'm most worried about Devontae Smith just burning us. I feel like they are going to show. I feel like they're going to try to attack Hufanga. I feel like they're going to make a real good effort on trying to specifically attack Hufanga. And yeah, that's about it, man. Just Devontae Smith. That's the biggest guy I'm worried about. Who do you got, man?
I mean, obviously, I think low hanging fruit is Jalen Hurts because he obviously is having like an MVP caliber season. He could beat you with his arm, beat you with his legs. But I'm gonna go a different route, even though he is somebody that can definitely be the game changer in this game. I'm gonna go with the offensive line of the Eagles. They're the top offensive line in the league. They have, their team doesn't have a lot of people carried over from that Super Bowl year a few years ago, but the guys that are from that, a lot of them are on the offensive line. So they have that championship pedigree. They've been to a championship. And look, if the 49ers defensive line and defense in general can't get pressure to Jalen Hurts, this is going to be a long, long game for the 49ers because at the end of the day, even though we do have a better secondary than we'd had in the past, we're going up against one of the best receiving corps in the league with a quarterback that can get the ball there and a quarterback that has the mobility to be able to make something out of nothing. So pressure is going to be extremely important. If we could make Jalen Hurts' life, harder by, Bosa being in his face and Ebicom being in his face and Armstead being in there. And, we'll see if Omenahu ends up playing or Drake Jackson, whoever it is, Jordan Willis, all those guys, like they need to be there camped out in the backfield with Jalen Hurts. And that offensive line is going to make it tough because they are very, very good. And, so that's kind of where I want to see, does our defensive line beat their offensive line? Because if they can't, this is going to be a long game.
Man, this is just a heavyweight matchup, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so freaking juiced up. Hey, 2 days, and we're gonna find out if the 49ers
Two sleeps, bro.
Two sleeps, and we're gonna find out if the Niners are in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and to your point, man, great offensive line, great defensive line on both sides. Yeah, man. I had a thought, man. My thought lost me, but I know it's gonna come
But
back.
let's talk about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I heard some interesting stats on when like Jalen Hurts rolls out, like that his accuracy really flutters. I don't got the exact numbers. And then I also seen, I think Jackhammer threw out a stat on like how the deep ball between Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts is very similar. Or if not, I think Brock Purdy could be a little bit better. And, I think it's easy to just sit back and say, oh, Jalen Hurts is way more talented. He does way freaking better. It's easy to just throw those words out there. And then when you really start breaking the details down, it's like, hold on a minute. This is a very evenly matched on both sides. Hey, I went back and watched that college game versus Brock and Jalen Hurts. Watched just about the whole game. And I will tell you, man, they got a lot of easy. And I know it's college. I know the competition, but I'm just looking at the quarterbacks, how they're getting rattled, how they're getting pressured. Jalen Hurts scored a lot of easy touchdowns fast. And Brock Purdy showed a gang of freaking composure, brought them all the way back. It looked like he made throws that were tougher than Jalen Hurts. And when it was a mano, I think they went for 2 at the very end of the game and easily could have been called. Like Brock Purdy easily could have defeated a way better team, and just quarterback to quarterback, Brock looked like he outplayed him, man. And I was kind of like surprised watching that in 2019. But hey, it's way different times. We're gonna find out on Sunday. And hey, go ahead with what was on your mind.
Yeah, so I was gonna just say, like, I think ultimately the the game plans for both teams is gonna be pretty similar because both teams have just a lot of weapons all around them, right? So if you're the Eagles, your game plan is to make Brock Purdy beat you. If they win, it's because Brock Purdy had a great game. I think it's going to be the same thing for the 49ers. They're going to try to shut down A.J. Brown. They're going to shut down Devontae Smith. They're going to shut down Miles Austin, Miles Austin, and is it? I don't know. I was getting those guys, but the running back there,
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, there we go. Miles Austin is the receiver that used to play with Cowboys. But anyway,
Miles
Sanders, Miles Sanders, Gainwell and Scott, like shut down Goddard, shut down those guys, and just make Jalen Hurts beat you without the big play ability, right?
Yeah.
That's, I think, what's going to end up being the game plan for both teams, and whoever executes the best is going to be the one that comes up. Because interesting enough, Richard, and obviously we're going through stats. There's only been 4 times this season where Jalen Hurts, starting with the Eagles, either lost or the game was in question, like very, very close. And that was against Arizona. They obviously lost to Washington, Indy, and then Chicago Bears, right? And in those 4 games, common denominator, the leading rusher in that game was Jalen Hurts. Those are the only 4 games where he was the leading rusher in the game for the Eagles. So what I extrapolated from that is if you can shut down the others and really make Jalen Hurts really have the brunt of the offense on his shoulders, you have a better chance of winning in that game. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is like try to shut down all the others and make Jalen Hurts really win. And I think that's going to be the 49ers' best chance to actually get a victory.
And it looks like Sunil, man, it looks like I'm pretty sure I'm trying to go through the whole season for the 49ers. We haven't let not one running back like really truly eat. I don't want to be false with the stats, but I don't think anybody has went over 60 yards, right?
Yeah, there's only 4 games total that the 49ers have let a team rush for over 100 yards. So, and I don't think it's been one running back that's been able to get those numbers. It's been like a conglomerate, but yeah, man, that's going to be our strength versus their strength. Let's see who wins.
Hey, and just to anybody watching, it's not like I'm sitting here like, hey, man, no matter what, the 49ers are going to win because this is going to be our toughest matchup. I mean, without a doubt, these are arguably the 2 most talented teams in the NFL. This could easily be the Super Bowl. So I expect a tremendous matchup. But I'm not one of those guys that feel like it would just be like a miracle if we won. We're not like a team that shouldn't be in the NFC Championship that just so happened to get there. Like we're
the number 2 seed.
We're the number 2 seed, and it's not even by luck or by default or this, that, or the other. Like we went and took, we went and blew teams out too, and this is with the 3rd string quarterback who is just producing tremendously. It is what it is. I know I say that a lot, but hey, I'm trying not to be a homer. Hey, if the Eagles win, which I rebuke it at the same time, it wouldn't be a surprise if the Eagles won. If the 49ers win, it wouldn't be a surprise. Like there's a reason why you see matchups in history of like Ali and Frazier, and I've been joking around about Brocky versus Apollo Creed, or some of the greatest David versus Goliath. I mean, let's go, man. There's been some legendary battles in sports history and just in the world, and this is just going to be another one, I think. But I have heard a few Eagle guys. I think Jesse Naylor had a guy on his channel who said something like 30-12. It's like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. And that's got it. 12. Like really? 12. All right. I'm gonna get off that hype. Man, how should you kind of already said it. So I'm gonna so I'm gonna go to the next question. How should the 49ers attack the Eagles? Like what is because my thing is I've heard all week long, run it down their throat, run it down their throat, run it down their throat. Absolutely. I agree with run it down their throat, but I also agree with, and I've been saying this all week, that if they're expecting run down the throat to the fullest, let's come out pass happy. I feel like Kyle Shanahan is one of those guys who could flip the script at any moment and come out passing the ball, come out and make them back up. Because it feels like through when we're scoring 30 plus points, it feels like we've been lightweight doing the opposite with Brock Purdy, throwing it, catching them off guard. And then you see CMC get the floodgates open and some massive holes. So I would, hey, I'm not the coach, but I would like to see the full arsenal by Kyle Shanahan, jet sweeps, take a deep shot. Hey, don't wait till the halfway through the third to take that one shot. Take it early to make them think twice, to make them be like, hey, we can't just stack the whole entire box. So that's my little way of wanting to, and then switch it up the next drive. Hey, if you went 2 straight passes this first drive, hey, come back the next one and go power run, and then maybe mix in a jet sweep right off the bat. But I just wanted to get your take. How do you think we should attack them with our offense?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a game where I think that it has to be head on a swivel. You got to kind of see what works and then keep utilizing that. I think the biggest thing is there has to be productive plays. Like if this team is constantly getting into 3rd and long, if we're getting into constant situations where the Eagles know we're going to pass this down, that's where we're going to get into trouble, because obviously the strength of this defense, they have a historic defensive line, right? They're the 3rd best of all time as far as the amount of sacks that they've gotten in a regular season. They're number 1 in pass defense. Their secondary is elite. So we don't want to get into situations where we're just playing into their strength, which is their pass rush and their overall pass defense. So productive, like whatever it is, like getting into 3rd and short, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 1s. That's where I think we're going. That's where you're talking about take the shots. At those moments, you could take the shots, because at that point, you can still run the ball, get the first down, or you could take that shot where they might be expecting, something a little bit different. So kind of like those memes or those like little videos that you see on YouTube and Instagram and stuff. Never let them know your next move type of thing. Like, they think you're going to pass, you got to throw it. They think that you got to throw it, but it's all about productive plays. I know it sounds good to like, hey, take your shots, take that risk, all that kind of stuff. High risk, high reward. That's accurate. But also, you can also get yourself into a hole. And so, they're expecting Brock Purdy to make mistakes. This is a very opportunistic defense. These guys can intercept the ball, can force fumbles, right? These guys can get in the backfield and get sacks. So you want to play smart as well. So I look for a lot of screens. Richard, I look for a lot of get the ball out into Debo's hands as quick as possible. Let him make a play. Get the ball into Ayuk's hand. Let him make a play. Force the secondary to tackle. Force these linebackers to tackle, because that might be where their weakness is, right? So I think just on the outside, quick screens, CMC, Debo, Ayuk, get the ball, Kittle, get the ball there, and then obviously run the ball. And then, hopefully in the second half, that's where we've tend to dominate, right? Because now all of a sudden, you're playing against a real physical team, that defense starts to tire and you can start taking advantage. So to me, it's about productive plays. Like if we're in 3rd and long consistently, Richard, this is going to be a tough game. If we could get to 3rd and 5 and below consistently, I think that, we're in a good position.
Well said with everything, because sometimes I get impatient. Sometimes I am that big risk, high reward, but you make a lot of real good points. Because I went back and watched, a good half of our season last night, and you see time and time and time again, some of the biggest momentum game changing plays is our defense. Jimmy Ward with the interception, Tayshaun Gibson with the interception, Bosa coming strip sack, Greenlaw with the touchdown, hitting them at the 1 yard line versus the Saints. You just see it some of our most major wins in big time games have, been on the heels of the defense and timely passing, with Purdy and just, yeah, man.
And
I love it.
here's the thing, Richard. Like, so in other games and other, we look at the overall season, there's not very many teams where the amount of talent on the opposite side of the 49ers was equal. And
Yeah.
and where that is a benefit to the 49ers is the margin of error was much bigger. So like you could make a mistake here and there, but your defense is so much better than their offense that they're not going to be able to score. So it buys time for the offense to get it together or whatever. Or the offense is just so much better than their defense. So even if the defense is having not the best game, the offense has gone out to such a big lead that it's too hard for the opposing offense to catch up. That's not the case for the Eagles. The margin of error for the Eagles is very, very small. So when you talk about high risk, high reward, there are going to be moments where the 49ers have to take their shots. But the problem is if you don't play smart against a team with a small margin of error as far as difference, because they have just as much talent as we do, that could really put us into a hole and get their momentum where now we're playing from behind. We're playing catch up. And I would much rather put that pressure on them than on us.
Real talk, Sunil, man. We need to get that early lead. We need to be able to, I think that is a major factor. And hey, man, let's just hop straight into keys of the game. Hey, if the 49ers are going to pull, hey, what's just your major keys to the game? I know it feels like the keys to the game are always the basics,
Right.
And so I'll just let you take it off, man. What is the key? Here, let's do this. What would be the major key to the game? Because I know we could go through the 3 or 4. What would be like the one major key to this specific game?
Boom, easy. Turnovers. We have to win the turnover game. If the Eagles can't turn the 49ers over at all, we win this game. But we have to win that turnover battle. Get either create turnovers against the Eagles, which they aren't a team that necessarily turns the ball over that much. They don't necessarily throw a lot of interceptions, but they do turn the ball over. But we got to play a clean brand of ball as well. We can't have those errors like Ray can't be fumbling it on special teams. Brock, has to have good ball security. No fumbles from the running backs or the receivers. Those are the type of things. We win that turnover battle. To me, we win this game.
Yeah, man. Hey, turnovers are always one of the most important things, if not the most important. And I'll just put trenches in there, we got to be able to, I feel like, create some pressure and protect. And then, I still almost want to mix in some more keys because I feel, and I'll let you add one too if you want to. But
yeah. I think another one, you talked about the trenches. I think that's extremely important. I think slowing down this pass game. So if we can have AJ Brown struggle again like he did against the Giants, right? He didn't have a great game against the Giants. You talked about Devontae Smith. That's the guy that scares you the most, with that deep ball. If they could keep him under wraps. If this pass game isn't big, I don't think this running game is going to be able to do much against the 49ers, right? So I think just slowing down the pass game, whether that is, through the zone or if that's, with the pressure from the front four, whatever it takes to make sure that this pass game doesn't get off, I think that's a key.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most major keys too, is not getting, just not getting burnt. Hey, if it happens once, hey, we seen what happened versus Seattle. They got us on one and we were able to, but we're not going to be able to put those kind of points on the board like we were versus Seattle, unless the whole world is shocked, which, man, could you imagine? Because every single prediction, I've seen almost every single very logical prediction be, my first prediction was 27-24 on Monday. And then, I see a lot of 21-24s. It's mostly 3-point games and anywhere in the 20s. I haven't seen anything really in the 17s to 14s. I haven't seen anything in the 30s. and watch us all be shocked, and it be something, some 33-30, or
It
just
definitely could be because look,
it could.
for everything we're saying, and we're giving the Eagles a lot of credit and a lot of praise as it should be. But look, Eagles haven't played a team like the 49ers either. They have a great secondary, but we also have 3 or 4 weapons that are insane that a secondary has to go up against. They have no answer for George Kittle. And Ayuk versus Slay is going to be insane. Debo versus Bradbury is going to be insane. So it's not like the Eagles are looking at this and saying this is a cakewalk. They make a mistake, Richard, we're going to be able to take advantage of that. So it absolutely could be a blowout. And you look at the teams that the Eagles have played, and they have been prone to have points put up against them and against offenses that aren't as talented as the 49ers. So there's absolutely every ability for the 49ers to put up big points against this defense if that defense is sleeping and not paying attention. Do I think that they're going to be that reckless against this team? No. I think that even though the fan base of the Eagles is talking reckless, I think that the team themselves know what they're getting into, and they're going to be dotting their I's, crossing their T's, because they absolutely know that if they play around with their food, they're going to be embarrassed. So I think both teams know that going in, and it's just whoever executes the best. And I actually think we have the edge when it comes to execution, just because we've had more challenging games. We've played through more challenging situations.
Yep.
And look, Hurts hasn't been tested since he's come back from injury. He definitely isn't going to be clean this game. He's going to get hit by Greenlaw, by Warner, by Bosa. Somebody's hitting him, and he's going to have to find out if that shoulder's still healthy.
Bro, you're great minds think alike, because I've been saying this I don't think I've said it loud enough the past couple of days, just the adversity that we have went through the season, and what has Philadelphia went through the past 4 or 5 games, and besides Gardner Minshew coming in, we're battle tested. We're battle tested through the past 3-4 years. We're battle tested for the past 3-4 12 weeks. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like it's when you go 3-4, start 3-4, and you're able to do something that hasn't been in conversation since 1997. Brock Purdy's get in the conversation of something that he's only one of 2 that's been done week after week. Every week, it's like, this has never been done. This has never been done. It's just freaking amazing, man. We're gonna hop into some over under. And you were speaking of Ayuk, and we also want to say what's up to everybody in the chat, man. We're gonna get to it at the end. We'll answer some questions, but we see Boats, Stevo Supremo, Alberto Soto. We see Josh in the house. My wife is in the house. I love you with all my heart. We got Raphael. Everybody's up in here, man. We love to see it. My man Rez, a Buccaneers fan. He started following me last year. But what's up, Rez? Hope all is well. Real talk. Hope you are blessed and well, along with everybody else at the same time. We recognize you guys. We see y'all. We see Luis up in here. Everybody. If I forgot you, you are not forgotten. All right, man. Hey, so we are going to get into some over under, man. It's been a long time since I don't think I've done an over under since I had Naylor on my show, like freaking a whole year ago, maybe even longer. But man, I had to bring it back. I was like, man, I got to have some fun with this. I've been doing some of these kind of things on my Monday show, Straight Out of the Bay, with a few of us fellas. But hey, man, over under. Brandon Ayuk, 65 flipping yards. What do you think? What are you thinking?
Ayuk's one of my favorite players on this team, but I'm gonna go with under on this one. I don't think he hits that 65 mark, just because it's a challenging opposition, but it's not because he's not going to get passes to him or whatnot. I just think somebody else on the offense is going to have a much bigger game that's going to take away from him being able to have more than 65 yards.
Hey, I feel it. I want to get to this comment because there's a lot of times on my show, like where I open up the Straight Out of the Bay show, all of us are from the Bay on there. And I always like to open up the show with, man, whether you're from the Bay or the UK, the 49ers are worldwide. And this just confirms it. Hello from Germany. Go 49ers, man. Let's get it. Let's go. You are appreciated. I almost start singing Tupac right there, but I'm not going to go there. Hey, man, I love to see it. Love to see it because, me being born and raised in the Bay, for the longest time, I thought the 49ers were just a Bay thing. And a good couple years ago, I found out how false that was. The 49ers are truly worldwide. And it just brought me a gang of joy. Like, this is dope. When I first found out Germany and UK and Australia, Canada, New York, I was like, man, hey, let's go. Faithful. Hey, we rolled deep. All right,
What
man.
you think? Ayuk over under? You never gave your opinion.
Over under, man. I want to say over because I feel like he's due, and I agree with you with the competition. Hey, this Eagles defense is not to be taken lightly, but I think this is the game where we see some deep crossers where we just see him get. I think there's going to be one major play where we see Ayuk get a 30 or 40-yard yak. And I think this is the one where we see it from Ayuk. So I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say over.
He had his most spectacular move against the Eagles, right? So
yes,
maybe there's something cooking in there for him.
Hey, Ayuk was the one with the wings on that play because that man floated. Who was that? Darius Slay? He did it over?
I don't remember who exactly.
I believe it was Slay. I think it could have been Slay. He did it over.
I can't tell you over under him pancaking somebody in this game. I'm gonna go with over because that boy can block, and I think he's gonna want to get into somebody this game. Talk. So that's gonna be fun to watch him. He's definitely gonna instigate some stuff. Him and Jennings.
I seen the all 22, and Ayuk was playing no games versus Dallas. He was manhandling number 6. And after a few plays after, I think he just yoking up on him too. And props to Fred freaking Warner for helping Ayuk level up. I'm pretty sure Ayuk was already gonna level up, but you got a leader like Fred Warner that gets in your face. The little fight they had in training camp, it matters. It matters. It's gonna make you or break you. And Ayuk did not fold when he went into the doghouse. Man, he leveled up, and it's just a joy to see. He had 1,000 yards this year for the first time. And you could just see it, his route running, his maturity, him talking at the end of games. You could tell he's not the most vocal, social person, but he's stepping outside that comfort zone and letting it rip, and I love to see it. Let's get it, Ayuk. Let's go. Where are we at? All right, 49ers offense, 3 touchdowns. Over under.
Ooh. So I have them right there at 3. So I guess it's a push for me. So I think that they end up scoring 3 touchdowns this game. So I'm gonna go push. Can we do that? I don't know if you're over under yet.
Yeah, man. This is just for the fun of the show, man. I might have to rewatch it to even find out who said what. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is the first time us doing this. Who knows if maybe we'll do it again. But
we definitely will, my man.
Hey, we're gonna link back up. Y'all heard it. Hey, man, I know for sure we're gonna get 2. We better get 2, and then I think maybe a couple field goals, and then maybe we see a defensive touchdown. Man, that's kind of been our bread and butter. Man, that would be beautiful. I almost want to say over, but this one, I think I might have to push it as well, man.
3 touchdowns, yeah.
Push it. Gotta push it. Yeah. Some salt and pepper. Gotta put some seasoning on this one, man. Hey, I want to say over. God, that'd be beautiful if we are able to get back into that 30+ point. But they got a great defense. We're gonna find out. I know that. All right, man. Let's get into the next one. And I picked this number for 2 reasons. One, I think this is how much yards Brock Purdy did have versus the Cowboys. And number 2, it's my birthday. So, this is the number, man. Brock Purdy passing yards 214 over or under.
Your birthday is on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, man. Hey, as a matter of fact, I'm the third one on my father's side on the direct bloodline with the same exact birthday, going back to my great-great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, and then me. I'm the third one. It's weird. It's like all the males on my father's side are all within a couple weeks in February. It's a trip.
just say happy birthday on Valentine's Day. You'll probably get it right.
Yeah,
Hey?
yeah, oh yeah.
I'm on this one. I'm going to go over, man. I do think that at the end of the day, Brock Purdy is going to have a lot of opportunities because they're going to really try to stack the box and stop the run. So I think, 49ers, I do think the 49ers are going to win. And I think that Brock Purdy is going to have more than 214 yards. I expect him to have over 250, with a couple touchdowns. So.
Absolutely. I love it, man. I'm going to go over as well. I'm going to go over, and I see someone in here. I will try my best. My wife's family are Native Hawaiian, and I don't know, maybe you could tell, maybe you can't, but I am not. But how's it? How's it? I believe it goes. My brother. How's it, my brother? Let's go Niners, baby. Let's get it. Let's go. Hey, man, we're repping today. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I get to visit the beautiful island this coming up April for my first time ever. My wife's family are all Native Hawaiians. So she hasn't been there in a long time as well. She gets to visit some family, long overdue. But good stuff for coming through. June, if I said that, the oos, let's get it, juice. Real talk. Hey, both links, if you're on my channel or Sunil's channel. Hey, if you like what you see us repping the Hawaiian shirts. Man, hey, go link us up, man. It's all Niner love and it's all love. The Aloha spirit. Real talk.
I gotta push it. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's not.
Go ahead.
It's not. If you go into Hawaii. Yeah. So it's use. Use means brother. Use means family out there in Hawaii. So it's not juice. It's use.
Hey, see, I'm learning. Hey, I'm learning, and that's why I put myself out there. I am always willing to freaking learn.
Man. I got your back, Richard. I ain't gonna let you go out like that, bro. I ain't gonna let you go out like that.
Hey, see, this is some real brotherly love right here. This is how you do it, Philadelphia. This is brotherly love right here. Real talk. Yeah, man. We see you guys in the chat. That's why we got it next to us. But let's get back into so you said over for Purdy 214.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get into Bosa sacks at 1.5 over or under. He's due. He's due, Sunil.
Yeah, man. I mean, history tells us no. But you know what? Big time players step up in big time moments, and I know Bosa's a big time player. I know that he's looking for it, and he sees what the Eagles are doing over there. They got all these guys with over 10 sacks and historic all defensive line and all that kind of stuff. Bosa is the captain of this defensive line. Everybody knows they look to him as far as being the star. I think he has over 1.5 sacks this game, my brother.
You heard it right there, man. I had to. Hey, look, I don't promote gun violence, but at the same time, I felt the fire of that. I had to put the tear in there. Big time players make big time plays in big time games. Let's freaking go. Let's see. Hey, over. It's time, Bosa. But I do want to say to Bosa's credit, he still has been making a tremendous impact regardless of what the stats say. Hey, we seen it last week versus Dak. He was up in his ear hole all game. He was right there, making him move, making him throw interceptions, making him off target. We won the game. Some of Bosa's best games probably don't even pull up on the stat sheet, along with Eric Armstead, along with Ebukam, all these guys. I'm going to say over. Hop straight into the next one. I love it, Sunil. 49ers defense, 2 interceptions.
I'm going to call this a push, man. I think that's right where they go. And I'll even call it Gibson and Lenore are going to be the 2 guys to get an interception each, man. Those guys are guys that the ball gets thrown at quite often, and I think they step up and take it away. So, and that's crazy because Jalen Hurts doesn't get intercepted too often, but I do think they could grab 2 of those. Two of them things.
And I'm going to go ahead and boo myself before I say this. I'm gonna boo myself because I feel like we could get 2 though too. But I'm gonna go ahead and say under. I think they're gonna attack the crap out of Hufanga, but I think he's gonna stand up and I think he's gonna get a big interception. It wouldn't, like you said, the point of Jalen Hurts just not making too many mistakes. But hey, if Bosa's eating, if our D line is eating and we're rattling his cage, I could see it easily happening, but this is the one where I'm gonna say under. I don't know, just maybe to keep myself realistic.
Yeah, you're that's the smart play for sure.
All right, hey, let's hop into Debo Samuel rushing touchdown, not reception touchdown. Will we see some Debo jet sweeps? Will we see, a little bit of not trickery but will we see playoff Debo with the good old rushing touchdown in this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with under on this one, man. I think Debo's definitely gonna get some opportunities out of the backfield, especially with Elijah Mitchell. Uh, Most likely gonna be, probably either not playing or not 100%. Uh, I don't see. I think near the goal line, I think they're gonna give it to CMC. So I think CMC gets that touchdown, but if it was Debo Samuel touchdown, I would have said yes. But Debo
Really?
Samuel rushing touchdown, I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, I should almost switch to over under. I almost because I don't like the push part. I don't like when it's right there in the middle, but it's like I almost
You
should
got to
just
put that 1.5 or
yeah,
point
yeah,
0.5. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. I'm flipping on some of my things because I feel like if I were to say over, it's like I don't see him getting 2 rushing touchdowns, but I could see him getting one. So I guess I'd have to push again. I
Mhm.
think it just gets the wheels spinning on envisioning what could happen in this game.
Right.
So I love to bring it up, but I'll say I could see him getting 1 rushing touchdown. I could see it happening. So I believe that's what he's going to get. So I guess that's another push. Whether that's allowed or not today, it is. And then you were talking about CMC, so this just ties right into my next one. CMC, 123 yards. I threw the 23 because that's his number, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, ABC, Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? All-purpose yards. Does he go? Does CMC have a better game? He receives, he gets the slants. Last week, I'm not sure his all-purpose yards last week, but
Yeah.
maybe he didn't get to that number. But hey, over under, I'll start this one off and say he's getting more. We're going to see
Ooh.
a CMC game. We're going to see him get a good 50 passing yards, maybe 70 something. I would be right at the number. 80 something rushing yards, big time CMC. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, we the way you said over on Ayuk, over on CMC, you thinking Brock Purdy about to like the 49ers about to put up 400 yards of offense against one of the best defenses in the league.
Like 280, maybe 280. Hey,
We still got to get the ball to
yeah.
Kittle, Jennings, like Debo. Like there's still other weapons on here that are gonna get the ball. So I'm gonna go. I think CMC has around 100 yards all purpose. So I'm gonna go with under on this. I still think CMC has a great game. Something like probably like 60, 70 yards rushing, with like 30, 40 yards passing. So probably like 100 to 120, I would say. So I'm gonna just go with under just because you went with the over. Because and I don't know if you have it in here, but to me, the guy that's gonna have the biggest game is George Kittle. And the reason why I think obviously Brock Purdy has that safety net in George Kittle. We've seen what George Kittle. Oh, you have it? Okay, keep going. Keep
No,
going.
no, that was actually my last one, but
All right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's go
no,
there.
no, or the CMC was my last one, so it's almost like I didn't even mention. I was just joking around, like, hey,
Oh, okay.
don't,
No, I didn't know it because I didn't know the.
I don't want them to hear nothing about Kittle. No, I'm just kidding. It's a
Yeah,
joke.
but
No,
no, but
you're on point.
here's the thing, Richard. Like we've seen what getting George Kittle involved in the offense has done for the momentum. Obviously, the play down the middle with him making that incredible catch changed the momentum of that game. I look for a two tutty game from George Kittle because I don't think they have anybody to guard him. They put a safety on him, he's going to be too big. They put a linebacker on him, he's going to be too fast. And Brock Purdy knows how to get him the ball at the right time. Giving him an opportunity to, catch the ball on the run. So I expect a big game out of Kittle, which is why some of those yardage with Ayuk, even though Ayuk is one of my favorite players on the team, and CMC, I expect a huge game out of George Kittle against the Eagles. So I think most of the yards go to him.
Yeah, man, we've seen it week after week after week. This is the best that Kittle has looked in his career with Who would have thought? Brock freaking Purdy. Brock
Mhm.
Purdy. Hey, he found it. I'm having little flashbacks. I think it was Brock Purdy's first. Maybe it was the Dolphins. Maybe it was the next game. I think it was Jesse Naylor who tweeted out like, "Oh, he found his comfort zone. He found his comfort blanket, or
Yep.
his safety net." And I remember that tweet because I remember just thinking, who knows? But and then week after week, it's like, nah, he found his go-to guy. And a lot of times with quarterbacks like Brock Purdy, you see them go heavy to the tight end. You see because I feel like that's one of the players that kind of gets lost in the sauce sometimes, the tight end. You see it with Kills with Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey,
Mhm.
Kittle has not lost a step. He is just been utilized in different ways, arguably one of the best, probably the most complete and best tight end in the NFL. Get ready, Philadelphia, because the Joker is freaking coming. But when he's on the field, hey man, he's a straight beast. Kittle, Kittle, Kittle. Hey man,
Absolutely.
I think that is close to the end of the show. We want to say thank you to everybody who joined the show, whether you're on my channel or Sunil's channel. We appreciate all you guys. We got Soto in the house. Fazil, is that how you say it? I know we see you on Twitter as well, man. Good stuff for coming through. Yeah, I'm not the best reader. I ain't gonna lie.
You're
Hey,
doing a fantastic
hey,
job, brother.
hey, I'm phenomenal at algebra. Who would have thought? But when it come to, or I'm good at reading, maybe not so much as spelling. But we got Josh in the house, man. We see all you guys, man. Hey, check me out on every Wednesday. Hopefully, we continue this thing, and we're gonna be winning the Super Bowl. Hopefully, we win on Sunday to where we could keep just man, let's go. It is our freaking year. But check me out on Wednesday, sometime earlier in the afternoon. Monday, 49ers straight out of the Bay. Me, myself, Jay in the Bay Area baller and Amin the Dream. And man, hey, go check out Sunil, man. I'm sure we're gonna link up again, and
Definitely.
we're gonna keep it lit. Everybody have a beautiful Aloha freaking Friday. Enjoy it. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Peace.